Hello everyone, my name is Jose Pons and this is the shortcomings and wish list video for the VIP website version 6.0. Just a heads up, all the information I'm going to go over and some more is available in the final document for release 5 of the VIP website that should have been provided to you by your product owner. If you don't know where that information is, just ask them and they'll provide it to you. The main issues I want to go over, and just letting you know, I'll go over some possible solutions too for those issues. The main issues are term management on the application as of right now is you can say chaotic or non-existent. Basically, it's as if it was only on one active term at a time, and even that doesn't work as it should. So I'll explain that later. Configuration is spread out into 3 files where it should be simply put on one. That makes more confusing than it should, the process of configuring the website after the copying it over to a new server. User management by the administrator is let's just say inexistent. There is no way for the administrator right now to, for example, delete a user or edit the profile of a user, and this functionality has been requested by the administrator of the website as of right now, Masood Sajjadi. I'm not sure if he'll remain for the next semester or it will be Francisco Ortega, but I'm sure they want this functionality. Finally, and this is sort of a performance issue on some pages of the website, there is a large amount of data being retrieved from API calls. For example, in some places where logs are retrieved, it retrieves logs since the beginning of time, which is, well, horrible for performance. The first and most important one of the issues we're going to treat is the inadequacy of the term and semester management system as of right now. Basic idea, the administrator doesn't really have a way to manage terms, and by manage I mean add new terms and set all terms as active or inactive at any given time in a way that it actually works, because technically right now there is a way to set terms as active and inactive, but it isn't working as of this time. So as you can imagine, the first thing that we need to take care of is that active inactive semester functionality that we have already in the admin panel that isn't really working. It's also incomplete. There should be more information. If you want to decide what terms should be active and inactive, it stands to reason that you would be able to see in that, say, table or panel or whatever, the current status of every term on your system. So that's not available right now. Moreover, the way that the active semester is decided, to say it somehow, in the system right now is that it picks up the first active semester from the database at the application startup time, so when the server is started. That is a problem for 2 reasons. Well, first issue is that the active term is only decided at startup time. Second issue is that this active term, a single one, is actually used to tag every project created, which means only one semester is active at a time, because every project, even if sent for a different semester, which may also be active, is going to be given the term ID of whatever the application decided at startup time that was the active semester. So this needs to definitely change. Just deciding the active semester at application startup time is definitely not a good way to go. Second, the administrator should be able to add new semesters through the admin panel. That stands to reason. The way we're doing it right now doesn't make any sense. It requires a developer to go into the server and log into Mongo and do a manual insert into the terms table in Mongo. And even that is not enough, because there are hard-coded lists of terms in several controllers in our Angular front-end code, which is again horrible, especially since we have an API to retrieve the terms. So whatever you see a hard-coded list of terms, that should be replaced by a get to our API to get the list of terms. Again, like I explained before, the term ID being set on all projects is that of that term chosen at application startup time, which is incorrect. So we need to make sure that this is eliminated. So they need to be given the ID for the semester that the project is for, and not the one that the application decided was active. We need to start giving term ID to the users when they register to the system. Maybe even let the administrator change it. So it will be like saying this user was active on this term, but it's now active on this, and so on. Like changing, a user that goes over one term, which is actually not uncommon. So this would also be useful for getting a list of users that are active on any given semester. And this would also make it so that in places where you need to get a list of users, you no longer need to get a list of all users in the application since the beginning of time. You can now only get a list of all users active right now, which is a lot smaller and better for performance reasons. For example, in the admin panel users table. Also related to that, to the term ID being set incorrectly on projects, you need to keep in mind that that term ID has been set incorrect in basically all projects since this application was deployed. So this field is incorrect everywhere in the VIP dev and the production servers. So there has to be a historical update script run against those two servers to correct that issue. Finally, and more importantly, once all the backend changes have been put in place to add semesters or activate or inactivate semesters efficiently, you need to actually enforce this. For example, make it so that in the projects page you only see projects for active semesters. Same thing for applying to project or things of the sort. You don't want to see really old projects showing up in a project page. Actually, you don't want to see any project from an inactive term. It doesn't make sense because they're not supposed to be available right now. Next issue, the configuration for the application is spread out into 3 different files. If you went through the installation and maintenance video already, you saw this. You saw that you had to go into each one of these and change some specific configuration, especially in the production server. It would be relatively easy to consolidate these 3 files into a single one. And honestly, there is no need for 3 of them. This only complicates our lives when deploying the application. Imagine if you only have 1, then it's 2 less files you have to remember opening and correctly changing or configuring. Plus, there's no reason why there will be configuration in the server.js file, which is basically a code file. The next issue I'll talk about is a request made by Masoud Sajjadi, one of the product owners for the VIP website. What he requested is that he would like the admin to have a way to administrate the users from the admin panel. More specifically, he would like to be able to delete users or modify user profiles for users in the system from the admin panel. Note that all the backend functionality for deleting and modifying users is already available, since this is the same functionality currently offered from the profile page to every user. The only difference here is you want to make it available to the admin instead of each user, and from the admin panel. So you need to create a UI, a user interface, either a page or a section in the admin panel where you will support these operations for the admin. The last issue that I cover in this video is related to large amounts of data being unnecessarily retrieved from the web API. This is causing performance issues in some pages or sections of some pages. Some examples where this issue is affecting performance are the project review logs or any other logs on the website for that matter, and the users in the admin panel users table. If you check these on your development environment or even the VIP dev environment, you will not see any performance issues because you don't have enough data in there. But if you go into the production server and go, for example, to the admin panel, you will see that it takes a long time for the users table to be populated. This is caused by the fact that when you retrieve users from the API, as of this time, it retrieves every user since the beginning of time. So basically dumps the user collection from Mongo into the browser, and then renders all those users in the table, which is a really long list and definitely unnecessary because most of those users are not even active in the system anymore. What I propose you do to solve this problem is you add paging to the APIs and the user interface wherever this problem is occurring right now. For example, in the project review logs, you can make it so that when the page loads, only the first, say, 30 or 50 logs are shown, and then give the user an option to see all their logs or not, and show them maybe 30 to 50 at a time instead of everything, and that would make the page load a lot faster. Same thing can be done with, for example, the users in the admin panel. It's a matter of fact, it's easier in this case because you can make it so that only active users show. And then again, give an option for the admin to see all the users in the system, but that would be a rarely used option. So in most cases, the admin panel users table will load really fast, which is what we're after here. Obviously, this needs to be done everywhere there are logs in the system, so project review logs, student application review logs, and so on. And this is the end of the shortcoming and wish list video. Keep in mind, if you want more information, you can always go to the final documentation for the VIP website version 6.0 that your product owner should have handed to you. Thank you for watching.